a continuous deterioration in the security outlook of the world. And the latest being the Iran Israel conflict that has erupted while G7 is going on. So these are the two major issues that the G7 will be looking at. Along with it, I'm not entirely sure whether it will be discussed or not, but there will be a underlying feeling that after the Bretton Woods collapse and the US dollar coming up as the global currency, the faith in US dollar is getting undermined because of the developments that have happened with the US administration and the rest of the world. And therefore, what should be the alternate mechanism of trade be as we move forward in the next 5 to 6 years? So those will be discussions or at least issues that will be in people's mind and the leaders' mind as they get into the G7 discussions in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, and while those discussions start and trade will be extremely important, Brahma Chilani, one cannot not point out the fact that here is a G7 summit without the American president, who also had, as we were speaking, the verbal altercation with his French counterpart. But the fact that the Trump has been so dismissive about his Western allies, about the West in general, where does this put what can we expect in terms of this year's outcome, if at all any?
The West is at a crossroads. It's at a crossroads not just because of Trump. Much before Trump returned to the White House, there were already political tremors rattling across the West, especially political popular discontent and a rightward shift in politics across Europe that we have been seeing. So the West, as we all know, accounts for just 12% of the global population, yet it dominates international institutions and it has a hold on the international financial architecture. Now, what Trump is doing is basically playing the role of a disruptor. He's shaking up the international system. In a way, it's good for India and it's good for the developing world because there is a long due reform of international institutions. And what Trump is doing is administering a shock. The shock therapy could ultimately lead to reform of the global order, because the global order today is an order dominated by the West. The rules have been set by the West, but the West really, in terms of its economic share of the global GDP, should not be playing this kind of role. So in a way, Trump is doing what is not his real intention is. His real intention is not to bring about a more balanced global order. Yet his actions unintentionally are creating the momentum toward revision of existing institutions.
Okay, which, Mr. Bhattacharya, as I said, the two parallel threads that I want to address, one, the global trends that are happening, the big global events in the backdrop of which this summit is taking place, and parallelly, what you're an expert of, trade, that is likely to be so important simply because Canada said that we want India in the summit for, well, want of many reasons, one of which is the fact that the Canadian economy needs an economic growth engine that India provides. So in your assessment, how do you see India's role and also the kind of Indian trade relationships in the backdrop of such a clear, overt statement by the Canadian Prime Minister saying that the Canadian economy needs the Indian economy's growth stimulus?
The only way for a country like India to maintain its strategic autonomy is to continue to grow both economically and militarily. As we have seen in recent times, that it is not enough to be only economically powerful, but it is also extremely important to be militarily powerful in the current geopolitical situation where there are conflicts all over the place. And therefore, coming back to what India should be doing to maintain its strategic autonomy is to maintain the relationships with every single country from a position of strength, and that position of strength needs to be earned, and it's a difficult, long journey. but we have already become the fourth largest economy, and we are poised to become the third largest economy, and we are clearly the fastest growing large economy in the world. And I think those are strengths that needs to be leveraged, because when we come down to the table, the world has become increasingly revolving around realpolitik in terms of short-term interests, and those interests can be traded only if you've got something to trade with, which means that you need to have an economic strength and backed by a very strong military to ensure that you are in a position of strength when having these conversations slash negotiations with the rest of the world.
Brahmachalani, final question I want to ask you, which is that this is a summit that is taking place in the backdrop of the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel. The G7 statement has been very clear that Iran needs to back off. They are also supporting Israel's strikes. But where do you see this going? Do you see the G7 as, in terms of ensuring that at least one of the sides exercises restraint, or do you see G7 playing a major role in being able to come about with some sort of a ceasefire?
The fact that Trump agreed to sign on to a statement on the Israel-Iran conflict only after the wording was changed. The wording was changed to please Trump, who wanted the statement to be clearly partisan. He wanted the statement to take Israel's side and not call for de-escalation by Israel and Iran. He wanted to pin the blame only on Iran. And that really goes to show that the G7 really cannot play the role of an honest broker. Yet, if there is going to be a way out of this conflict, nuclear diplomacy will have to be restored. The nuclear diplomacy has been derailed by Israel's attack on Iran, but Iran today is completely isolated. It stands alone. Its missile defenses have been decimated. Its arsenal of missiles is dwindling, and the only escape route for Iran today is to return to talks with the US. And I think with a weakened hand, Iran may have to submit to Trump's demands in a way that it could have escaped had a deal been reached before Israel's attack began.
All right. Trump left the G7 summit early. He said he has something more important than Iran-Israel crisis. There's an expectation that he will be in the Situation Room with his advisors, and there will be some sort of a positive movement and at least an update on that front. All right, viewers, I'm going to slip into a very short break. And gentlemen, thank you so much for helping us decode what could be the big takeaways of the G7 summit. I'm going to slip into a break, come back on the other side, talk more about the specific bilaterals, 4 important bilaterals that Prime Minister Modi will hold today. What could be the key focus areas there? We come back and decode that. Stay with us.
You could part exchange your car or get cash in the bank with We Buy Any Car. Enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements, new appliances, a car, or for some of life's big moments. So even if you've had problems with credit before, Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes. Evlo, your future in your hands.
Magic family moments deserve the perfect setting. A stylish awning from House is the ideal addition to your outdoor space. Available in a range of colours and finishes, and with the option of integrated lighting and heating, you can enjoy your outdoor space for even longer. Now that is magic. House awnings, made for life.
Life is complicated. Hastings Direct Car Insurance is simple. You've got a lot going on. A lot. Trying to save could really grind your gears. So come on, let's get a great deal off the ground! Nice driving. Hastings Direct is simple. Great cover, great price, and a great app makes us one of the UK's top choices when comparing car insurance online. Hastings Direct. Simplicity is the best policy.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma, but so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pamelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 038 4926 and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
So viewers, there will be some very important bilateral discussions that the PM will hold after the outreach session. In fact, before the outreach session, there will be 4 key bilaterals that the PM will have. It will include one with the Canadian Prime Minister, the Italian Prime Minister as well, Giorgia Meloni. Along with that, there will be the German Chancellor and also the Ukraine President. All of 4 will be very crucial. It will further India's trade interests, geostrategic interests, and of course the big one, Canada, in terms of putting a complete reset button, or at least pushing the reset button when it comes to the ties. Let's get in a voice to decode this in detail. We have with us Ambassador Sachdev, who joins us to talk more on this. These are all very important bilaterals that will take place. Sir, in your assessment, what would be your expectation from first the India-Canada bilateral relations, that is taking a bilateral discussion that will take place?
I think this is an important opportunity for us to reset our bilateral ties that have faced considerable disruptions in the past for various allegations made by the Canadian side, which have upended not only diplomatic ties, but also people-to-people ties. Indian government has been miffed at accusations being hurled about India's involvement in Niger killing and also about elections meddling in Iran, in Canada. And these were not substantiated by the past Canadian government of Prime Minister Trudeau. And that led to soured relations between us. Prime Minister Carney is an economist. He faces an economy that has been upended by the US tariff, the largest trading partner of Canada, and he needs all the friends that he can get.
Okay.
India and Canada have vibrant trade ties. Particularly significant apart from $8.5 billion.
Let me quickly ask you, sir, what about
Yeah.
Germany and Italy? Those were the other 2 important bilaterals that will take place. How do you see those? A lot of focus would be on trade there?
I think so. I think these 2 are very important components of European Union, which has been negotiating with India a comprehensive trade and economic agreement likely to be signed by the end of this year. some kinks remain about natural persons and tariffs, etc. And Germany being European Union's largest economy, Italy be having a vibrant exchange with India in trade lately, are two important partners that India would be able to try and persuade bilaterally to have EU take a more purposive line and not to insist on
Okay.
its own domestic agenda.
All right, I'm going to leave it there, sir. We're going to keep tracking that big story later in the evening as well when these proceedings does take place. But I'm completely timed out. I have to take a very short break and I come back on the other side to talk about, well, the other big story, the Israel-Iran escalation, fifth night of strikes. What does it mean? Even as Indian students are caught in the crossfire. We're going to talk more on that and also get an Indian student to understand the plight and anguish that they are facing there. More on that after this break. Stay with us.
Life's full of times like this. Oh yeah. The gaps between the good stuff. Okay. Like killing time in waiting rooms. It's not long until you've had enough. David, it's time for some tombola. Working on that flat pack. Open for fun. Been bulking up the six-pack. Open for fun. Yes! We've won £11! All right, calm down. It's just a bit of bingo. Open for fun.
How long's it been then? We met about 8 years back. What? Yeah, serious relationship.
He has this way of looking into my eyes.
Knows how to treat me. Gentle, considerate.
Did I tell you he owns his own business?
I think he's going to pop the question.
Better or worse?
Better.
Our opticians and audiologists own their stores, so your care is their business, which can make them rather popular.
Apparently, he's seeing half the town.
Book an appointment today.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charged hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be owed thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World.
On India Global, we now focus on the other big story, the Israel-Iran conflict. Well, viewers, US President Donald Trump has said that he wants a real end to Iran's nuclear ambitions, even as the conflict between Israel and Iran has entered its fifth day. President Trump indicated that he may send senior American officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and his Middle East envoy, to Tehran for possible talks. He has also requested the National Security Council be prepared in the Situation Room as he is returned from the G7 summit in Canada, and he's expected to take stock, even as he then went on to say that, well, if Iran wants to talk to me, they know where to call him. Now, in the midst of these mixed signals, there is an update that's coming in terms of the actual situation on ground. Israel's defense minister issued a stark warning to Iran's supreme leader, drawing comparisons to Saddam Hussein's fate. Israeli airstrikes have reportedly killed several top Iranian commanders, leaving Khamenei's inner circle in complete disarray. Iran has responded with a massive barrage. Remember, for Iran, its biggest arsenal in its war arsenal is actually the ballistic missiles, the supersonic missiles, to which the Iron Dome of Israel is effective but gets tested. And that is where this war is going. Over 100 missiles and hundreds of drones aimed at Israeli cities were fired. Explosions were reported in Tehran, while attacks near the Strait of Hormuz have raised global alarm with regard to oil supplies, with regard to shipping lines that could be impacted. Diplomacy and destruction are unfolding in parallel. The region now tethers on the edge of a wider war, and India is moving swiftly to ensure the safety of its citizens in Iran is of paramount importance. Amidst the escalating tension in Israel, the Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed that Indian students have been moved out of Tehran, and others are still in the city, are being moved out and are being advised to leave immediately. The Indian Embassy has issued emergency contact numbers. If we have those numbers, let's flash that on our screens, the helpline numbers, so that anybody who's watching this broadcast knows which are the numbers to dial so that they can get in touch with the Ministry of External Affairs helpline and also the Indian Embassy there. India is ensuring that every student stranded there is help is reaching out to them, and they are able to get out and be evacuated safely, even as several countries, including the US, has told its citizens in Israel that it is not in a position to evacuate. Remember that, viewers. America has issued this advisory to its citizens in Israel that it cannot evacuate its citizens. Look at what India is doing. Each and every of our students we want to be in touch with. We want to ensure that all of them are brought back safely and are provided the safe haven and the land evacuation routes. Let's put out those big questions that we are posing right now, and hopefully we'll get an answer to as well. First up, how long will the entire evacuation process take? Remember, a lot of parents are agitated and anxious right now because while they may be able to speak to their children, they don't know how long this entire process is going to take. Let's move ahead. Is Armenia the only possible escape route? They are going to the Armenian border and then coming out, but are there more routes that are being evaluated? Are the authorities talking to each other to ensure that they can expedite this entire process? That's a question that must be going through the minds of the parents as well. What happens to the degrees? Remember, these are all medical students. What happens to their degrees, their courses? When will they go back? Will there be a semester that will be missed? All those are very genuine questions for students who are studying there. From scratch to, will they have to start from scratch, or will they continue? Again, those are questions that every student would be wanting to know, but there are no answers right now. And as far as Israel is concerned, there are a large number of Indians who are in Israel as well. What are the exit routes there? Not that many students there, but there are also a large number of Indians there as well. Let's quickly now rope in guests joining us this evening, Omar Anes, Faizan Nabi, as well as Anath as well, joining us on the broadcast. Anath is from the president of the Israel Asia Chamber of Commerce, joins us live from Tel Aviv. Faizan Nabi is a first-year MBBS student from the Kerman University of Medical Sciences in Iran. And Omar Anes is a Middle East expert, joining us live from Ankara. Okay, Faizan, let me start with you first. I want to understand from you how things are unfolding right now. Is the embassy in touch with you? What are the details that you can share with us in terms of how soon will you be evacuated? Is Faizan with us? Okay, before we get in, Faizan, internet connectivity is a challenge in Iran right now. Let's get in Omar first, and then we get in Faizan at some point of time. Omar, how do you see this entire situation unfolding, and the fact that you have these civilians who are caught in the crossfire?
What I see right now is that Israel is trying to build maximum pressure on Iranian government. Israel is issuing so many warnings, And now the Trump administration seems to be supporting the Israeli view, despite the fact that the Trump administration was not convinced with Israeli suggestions about the fact that Iran might be very close to have a nuclear weapon within 3 or 4 weeks, as it was saying. But one thing I would like to say here is that Israeli agenda is now focused to change the regime in Tehran. And I think that Europeans and, of course, the Americans should also be worried of this agenda, because Iran is not Afghanistan, Iran is not like Iraq. And you can imagine if regime change agenda in Afghanistan brought Taliban back, and in Iraq it brought ISIS, what we are expecting from Iran, it is going to be very disastrous, devastating for the entire region, and especially for India and Pakistan and all of South Asia and Central Asia. So regime change agenda is not going to be the solution which Israel is proposing. In fact, Israel's main agenda is to keep the region extremely unstable, so that from the instability of the region and from the chaos of the region and from bloodshed of the region, Israel can remain the only so-called democracy in the world. And this is a typical colonial mindset which Israel is implementing from taking the cue
enough
from...
Israel bashing. It is still
yes.
a democracy, and it is the only democracy in the region.
No, it is not democracy.
Okay, so elections do happen there. Do let me know if elections happen in any other part of that region. But as I said, this is not about Israel bashing. The question was very simple, straightforward to you, which was about the citizens, Indian citizens who are stranded there, efforts that are being made to get them out of there, and also the latest in terms of the war right now, where Donald Trump has gone back saying that there will be an update in 48 hours. Ms. Annette Bernstein-Rake, I hope I got your pronunciation of your name right. Pardon me if I haven't. But I want to understand from you, how do you see this latest developments unfolding, especially with President Trump indicating that he's going to be speaking to his advisors in the Situation Room. He may be doing so as we speak, with an expectation that maybe some sort of a solution may be found. He said not ceasefire, maybe something permanent. What is it that you think could be the options on the table?
Israel, first, good evening. Israel is seeking to dismantle the capabilities of Iran nuclear program. For that purpose, we're doing the work, but it will be quicker if US will join forces with us. And with their capabilities, we can conclude the work quicker. I'm very, I would say, not comfortable with what my former speaker said about Israel agenda. Israel agenda is not to change the regime. It might be a side effect, but definitely it's not our role to change a regime. Our role is to protect ourselves from a regime that wants to destroy us, and we will not let this happen. There will not be a second Holocaust in the Jewish life. We only want to stop the military nuclear capabilities of Iran and stop manufacturing of missiles which are attacking Israel. Now, they are from Iran, but those missiles were, the Iranian missiles were used against Israel from Gaza, from Lebanon, from Syria, from Yemen,
yes,
and now from Iran.
Indeed, multiple fronts opened against Israel, and all of them coordinating. Houthis also said that they are coordinating an attack with Iran on Israel. So that is something that the Houthis have said. Let's get in now. Faizan Nabi with us on the broadcast. Faizan, I want to then speak to you about the latest that's happening right now in terms of your safe passage out of Iran. Where exactly are you right now? Have you spoken to the Indian authorities? What's your next step?
Thank you for taking me up. I am in Kerman, Iran. It is relatively very safe place if we compare it with Tehran or Shiraz. Since day one, since the tensions have arisen, since day one, the embassy has been playing an active role in facilitating our safe passage back to India. We are waiting for their command As of now, the situation stands like this. Those who were in Tehran, every university like Iran University of Medical Science, Tehran University of Medical Science, or Shahid Beheshti, the students of these respective universities, they have been taken to Qom. Qom is another province of Iran. It's relatively safer again. So as of now, they are in Qom. It has been one day. They were taken to Qom the other day in the morning. And students of Shiraz, Arak, they have been taken to a place that's known as Yazd. So far, my university is concerned. We were actually about to start our final exams today, which means 17th of June.
Okay.
But the university has cancelled all the exams till mid of October.
Are you in touch with students who are being evacuated?
Yes.
What are they saying? What is the evacuation passage?
Only one batch of Indian students have been taken out from Iran, which means they have been evacuated. That is a batch who were from Urmia University of Medical Science. Urmia shares a border with Armenia, so 90 to 100 students have been evacuated, and I think they will be flying to India in a day or two.
Mm-hmm. And you will continue to stay there, right? Because you feel that you don't need to be evacuated.
No, for the uncertainty, the fear, the horror, it is same. If you talk to a student in Kerman or you talk to a student in Tehran, we are horrified, we are traumatized, as equal as our parents. And for students who are in Kerman, we were actually advised to tuck up our bags. That's done. We were advised to pack our bags. And since till morning, it was the plan that we will be relocated to Yazd. But following that order, more order came up that says that we have to stay here in Kerman, and in a day or two, we will be directly evacuated from Kerman.
Okay. Quick closing comments from the other two guests as we wrap things up. Omer, how soon do you see this ending, given, as I said, the Trump administration is looking at some permanent solution?
I think Iran is still willing to have a direct communication with the Trump administration and to secure some sort of assurance, because Iran was very serious, and Iran was, it was Trump administration's initiative to have a negotiated outcome. So okay. Iran is, I think, looking an opportunity.
All right. And Ms. Annette, what do you say about the possible solution that the Trump administration may come out with?
We look forward to peace. If via negotiation we can terminate the military nuclear program, definitely it's welcome than anything. We seek peace. That's what we want. We want to create IT. We want to have an high-tech nation. Our hands are sent to peace. And if Trump is able to do it, we say welcome, inshallah.
Absolutely. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on this edition of India Global. I'm going to slip into a short break, come back on the other side, talk more about, well, what's up with Hasim Munir? Why is he becoming the butt of so many jokes? We come back and talk more on that.
Because your kid's wizard obsession doesn't work on broken boilers, there's short-term loans from £50 to £1,500 from lendingstream.co.uk.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at Blinds Direct. Create your dream home with blindsdirect.co.uk.
Let's play. Someone here is about to find out they've won Lotto, but who's the millionaire going to be? Maybe that guy, wondering, are crackers with the biscuits or the crisps? All in, buying a birthday card for a cat? Okay then. George is a millionaire. Get yourself a coat with sleeves. Lotto makes 2 millionaires a week on average. Will you be the next millionaire?
Air fryer. It fries using air.
Everybody. Britain, what you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours.
you could get 0% interest for up to 24 months on all your purchases with a Barclaycard Platinum credit card.
You're flying without wind. It's price squeezing air.
Barclaycard. Make money work for you.
John from work said it's a lovely hike.
Triathlon, John.
Right, Rosie, can I have the boots bag? No, I meant the hiking boots bag. Did we not bring it?
Such a shame.
Such a shame.
With thousands of lower prices at Boots, that's your summer sorted.
Life's full of times like this. Oh yeah. The gaps between the good stuff. Okay. Like killing time in waiting rooms. It's not long until you've had enough. David, it's time for some tombola. Bingo 90. While your car gets made all shiny. Deal or no deal's exciting. So your ready meal is piping. Grounded on the runway. Open for fun. Paddling on your staycay. Open for fun. Yeah. Well done.
How long's it been then? We met about 8 years back. What? Yeah, serious relationship.
He has this way of looking into my eyes.
Knows how to treat me. Gentle, considerate.
Did I tell you he owns his own business?
I think he's going to pop the question.
Better or worse?
Better.
Our opticians and audiologists own their stores, so your care is their business, which can make them rather popular.
Apparently, he's seeing half the town.
Book an appointment today.
Well, I'm shifting now focus to the Pakistani army chief. Well, imagine throwing your own birthday party, shouting from rooftops about how everyone wants you there, only to show up and find out that the cake was never for you. In fact, you weren't even invited. Now imagine being so embarrassed and instead of going home quietly, you do organize a smaller party next door just to save face. Enter Pakistan's self-declared field marshal and full-time democracy enthusiast, Asim Munir. He told the world he'd be honored at the US Army's 250th anniversary celebrations. The only problem? Well, the White House said this is false. No foreign military leaders are invited. But Asim Munir, refusing to be outdone by facts, held a backup party, or a diaspora engagement event, if you want to call it, at the Four Seasons, with protesters chanting "Shame on you, dictator," right outside. This latest embarrassment follows Asim Munir's supposed promotion to Field Marshal after being humiliated during Operation Sindoor. For those keeping track, that makes him the second Field Marshal in Pakistani history and arguably the first to be honored for losing a military battle against India, and which wasn't a success by any stretch of imagination, even for the Pakistani state-run media, which had to squint to find the win. And while Asim Munir was busy dodging American applause that never existed, back home, the Pakistani people have been left with inflation, censorship, and the army's ever-expanding definition of democracy. So what's the takeaway? Well, if you're not invited to the big leagues, don't fake it till you actually make it. Because when the only reception you get in Washington is a protest and a fact check, it is time to smell the coffee. Well, I'm now turning attention to the UK, where a prayer meeting took place for the AI 171 victims. It was, remember, a flight that was from Ahmedabad scheduled to go to London Gatwick Airport. Aircraft full of people who love London, had family there, or had dreams of being in the city for work or education, or to just return home. They did not make it, and just as much as it hurts in Ahmedabad, so does it in London as well. A multi-faith prayer meeting was held at the Indian Embassy, Indian High Commission, attended by the British Deputy Prime Minister, Canadian Ambassador, and all those people who had connection with the victims and the family members of all those people. Take a look at Radhika Iyer's report on a city full of heavy hearts.
You offered some Zoroastrian prayers, some Parsi prayers.
That's right.
Tell us the significance of that prayer briefly.
Well, it is basically, it's called the Ashem Bahu prayer. And as I mentioned, it's the very first prayer we are taught as a child, like within 2 years by a mother. And it's the very last prayer we learn when we pass away. And it's primarily a prayer to importance of doing righteousness and good deeds. And it is only those good deeds which give happiness to all of us. So this is then to all the departed souls, because that is what we are remembered for, and that's what our everlasting memory. So when we pass away, we remember the departed, and sadly, in this instance, it's more traumatic than before. So that's what the prayer was about.
Phil, you represent the Jewish community in the UK. Your presence here and the significance of what you mentioned during that prayer.
Well, this is a horrendous tragedy that knows no religion, knows no nationality. As it happens, I'm of Indian origin. My grandparents are from Mumbai, but regardless of that, this is a tragedy that I think all of us around the world have felt. So I really want to take this opportunity to show solidarity with the families who are affected and with India, because this is a tragedy I think we all feel very deeply.
Radhika Iyer also spoke with some students there who've been impacted and hit by this terrible tragedy that struck a few days back. Listen in.
What are your thoughts at this stage? What brings you here? What made you come out of home and join this prayer meeting?
So it was very scary, and I was really very scared about whatever happened there, and my condolences to the families of the deceased.
There were multiple multi-faith prayers were offered because there are so many tragic stories, unfortunately, young students who had bags full of dreams, hearts full of hopes and for a new future. So it's not just lives lost, but so many young people whose futures are lost. What's your state of mind?
I mean, it's a very devastating news to hear, and even though I haven't lost anyone yet, but definitely one of my close friends have they lost a family member, and I think just right now the support and you know, there's no words that we all have, and we just need to have just a peace of mind and just a bit of space of, you know, what has happened, and
you're just
we
reflecting
can't move on from it. So yeah, it is hard for me as a student, because I heard there are students on the flight as well, young ones, and it does affect me, even though I haven't lost a family member, but it definitely hurts me a lot. And I've been mourning so far from the day it has happened, and it hasn't been easy at all.
All right, viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Global. Thanks so very much for watching.
Let's play. Someone here is about to find out they've won Lotto, but who's the millionaire going to be? Maybe that guy, wondering, are crackers with the biscuits or the crisps? All in, buying a birthday card for a cat? Okay then. George is a millionaire. Get yourself a coat with sleeves. Lotto makes 2 millionaires a week on average. Will you be the next millionaire?
Done from work said it's a lovely hike.
Triathlon, Joe.
Yes.
Right, Rosie, can I have the boots bag? No, I meant the hiking boots bag. Did we not bring it?
Dad!
Such a shame.
With our amazing range of skincare and free skin expertise online and in store, that's your skincare sorted.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure window dressings delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at blindsdirect.co.uk.
Life's full of times like this. Oh yeah. The gaps between the good stuff. Okay. Like killing time in waiting rooms. It's not long until you've had enough. David, it's time for some tombola. Working on that flat pack. Open for fun. Been bulking up the 6-pack. Open for fun. Yes! I've won £11!
All right, calm down. It's just a bit of bingo.
Open for fun.
How long's it been then? We met about 8 years back. What? Yeah, serious relationship.
He has this way of looking into my eyes.
Knows how to treat me. Gentle, considerate.
Did I tell you he owns his own business?
I think he's going to pop the question.
Better or worse?
Better.
Our opticians and audiologists own their stores, so your care is their business, which can make them rather popular.
Apparently. He's seeing half the town.
Book an appointment today.
Just because my kids are grown up and have little ones of their own doesn't mean family life slows down. I'm busier than ever. Now that I'm in my 60s, I want to make sure that my family has enough to cover my funeral costs and other expenses when I'm no longer around. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one, and you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call. Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team on 0800 542 1545 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
To Armenia and will be on their way to New Delhi soon. Well, first up this evening, Kamal Hassan's Thug Life may be losing its battle at the box office, but it has the support of the apex court for a Karnataka release. While hearing a PIL, the top court said the movie must be allowed to release in Karnataka and ordered the transfer of the case in the Karnataka High Court to the apex court. Emphasizing the importance of the rule of law, the court said that mobs and vigilante groups cannot be allowed to take over the streets. Kamal's comments at function on Kannada being born out of Tamil led to sharp reactions and demand for a ban on the film. The actor's clarification did not pacify Kannada groups and even state ministers who had sought a ban. The apex court today said, and I quote, "We can't allow this to happen. Rule of law demands that any person should be allowed to release a film. It can't be at the fear that the theatres will be burnt." Thus, the apex court's observations put the state government in a tough spot. Joining me now is A.S. Ponnanna, Congress MLA and Chief Minister Siddaramaia's legal advisor. Sir, thanks very much for speaking to us. The apex court's observation could put the government in a tight spot. While a final order hasn't been passed, the court's observation that rule of law demands that any person should be allowed to release a film could put the Karnataka government in a delicate position as far as Thug Life is concerned.
No, we have no qualms whatsoever with what the Supreme Court has to say. But my pointed question, which I have been time and again trying to get an answer for, is why did the producer even move court? You see, what Kamal Hassan said, like I have said before on your show, has hurt the sentiments of the Kannadigas. Whether he chooses to apologize or not, the people of Karnataka demand an apology from him. And I've also said that we have stood by him when he was in need. So whether he chooses to apologize or not is a personal call that he must make. But the state has never denied or never rejected him permission to release the movie. So why did he go to court is a big question mark. You see, this looks more like a publicity stunt, and I'm hoping that the judicial justice dispensation system is not misused for this purpose. See, few organizations who were hurt by what he said gave a call that they will, not allow this movie to be released. But it is not the government's call. It's not the state's call. And it is not his case that he came to us seeking for protection and we denied it. It is not his case that he came and represented to the state that he has some fear that his movie may be, kind of interfered with. Yes, they will set these things. Straight away, he rushes to court. Honorable High Court of Karnataka said, you apologize, considering the sentiments of the people. It was just a small little action that was required from him. He should have shown the magnanimity to have said sorry if it has hurt the sentiments of the people of Karnataka. But he did not do so. That is another matter altogether. But why is he going? And rule of law must prevail. I agree with that. And I'm sure the state of Karnataka in entirety, and especially the government, agrees with that. And we will ensure rule of law prevails, whatsoever may be the case. But see, don't go to court without reason.
Okay.
Because few organizations have taken up arms against what he has said.
You're making a nuanced point, sir. While you state that the rule of law will be followed, the state never opposed the release is the point you're trying to make. It was private Kannada organizations that opposed it and the producer moved the court against them. Keeping that aside, what about the more practical issues? Even if the state protects the release of the film, will distributors and exhibitors be open to releasing the film in such an atmosphere?
Oh, that's a very valid point that you make, but I do not have too much details about what the exhibitors feel, what the distributors feel about the movie, and whether they would want to risk, hurting sentiments of the Kannadiga people. But the point remains that as a movie maker, if people are agitated about something you said, about the content of your movie, it's up to you. I mean, you can change that and ensure that there is a smooth, give and take. Or you can insist that your fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression, which we stand by. We stand by Kamal Hassan's and the movie makers' right. But, end of the day, we must look at larger public interest. Everybody must look at larger public interest. There is no point, no purpose served in hurting people and affecting their mindsets and then trying to impose yourself with what you've said. So the movie per se has nothing to do with what the Kannadigas are feeling right now. It is what the actor of the movie, I don't know if he's partly producer of that movie, has said about the language and about Kannadigas. That's the whole issue. But as far as his right to express himself is concerned, we stand by that. It's a fundamental right guaranteed under the Constitution. As a state, we cannot deny him. He is totally entitled to it. And rule of law must prevail and will prevail in the state of Kannada.
Thanks very much, Mr. Ponnanna. You're making a categorical point that the state will stand by Kamal Hassan. From a movie point of view, and let's leave the legal and political issues aside, given that it's had a lackluster response in the box office, below par performance at the box office, how much does it matter business-wise for the movie to actually hit the Karnataka markets if it eventually does?
I think it's too late in the day right now because, the outcome has been discussed and the critics' view has come out. So I don't know how much of a difference does it make for the filmmaker to actually release the movie right now. But having said that, I think considering the larger interest of the filmmaker, because movie is not just Kamal Hassan, it also means the filmmaker, the producer, a lot of technicians who have worked on it. And also one point I would like to make here is Karnataka is one state where people watch movies in the same language and they don't watch the dubbed versions. This has always been the case with Karnataka. Like a Tamil movie gets a lot of viewership in Karnataka. The same with Telugu as well. So I think it is a huge loss for the filmmaker that this happened. Very unfortunate. But right now, I think, I don't know how much of a difference will it make to the business.
So in many ways, then it's, leaving the business aside, it's more a symbolic assertion of his right to release a film in Karnataka. Sanjay Sahai, on the one hand, what the apex court has today observed, there are multiple issues that are at play here. From a practical point of view, how difficult would it be to ensure that the movie has a smooth release in Karnataka, given the kind of sentiments that one has seen so far?
See, first and foremost, it has to be unequivocally stated by the government that we will take care of all the security arrangements. And I think precisely for that reason, the Honorable Supreme Court of India has given a day's time to file in the counter affidavit and the government to tell them as to what the processes would be and how it will be taken care of. There is no denying the fact that the sentiments are against the movie primarily because of what Kamal Hassan has said, and that sentiments still stands. So the likelihood of some odd thing happening, I think that cannot be ruled out, but certainly the state is ready to put all its might to maintain the law and order situation in Karnataka. So I don't think that it will be very difficult, but the necessary precautions need to be taken, and the clarity of the government that we are completely with whatever Supreme Court says, and also in a tangential manner that we are all in favor of release of this movie. So that connect between Supreme Court's order and the release of this movie, that has to be very clearly stated and understood by the public mind. So that becomes very, very important. I remember very correctly I think around 2 decades back or somewhere in that vicinity, that I think it was Mr. S.M. Krishna's government and Mr. Nariman was fighting the case. It was some dispute, Kaveri dispute was there. At that particular point in time, the government said that there is a likelihood of law and order problem, and so we will not be able to do whatever was stated or whatever was the tribunal's order. At particular point in time, the Supreme Court told precisely the same thing, that it is your job to maintain law and order, and you cannot come with an alibi. So the whole issue today is that it was an extrajudicial ban. And whatever the spokesperson or whosoever talking on the behalf of the government might say, this movie, the fact is the movie has not been released. That's the reality of life.
Right.
Had this thing not happened, movie would have been released on 5th of June. That's point number one.
Right.
Point number two, with regards what High Court said and what the sentiments High Court is supporting or looking for. High Court was completely, their judgment was thoroughly misplaced. And I'm not saying that, the Supreme Court of India is saying that, and it says very clearly it is none of the job of the High Court to ask for an apology.
Right.
And with regards to rule of law, 100% is shattered. There is absolutely no doubt about it.
All right.
We are not getting into the causality of it. We saw the Bangalore stampede also.
You made a categorical point. I mean, you know, I think you've made a very categorical point. There are multiple dimensions to it. The key issue is how is the state government going to deal with it? We'll have to wait for that reply. But thanks to both of you for joining me here on the Southern View this evening. Of course, Thug Life, as I mentioned, having a lackluster performance at the box office and other markets. It's not necessarily a business issue at the moment. But moving on to a bit of breaking news that's coming in right now around Karnataka's IT Minister Priyank Kharge, his US visit for the Boston Bio 2025, for which he was leading a delegation, could be under a cloud. According to reports, he's not got necessary clearance to visit the United States to attend two events there. He was supposed to lead a delegation, as I mentioned, to the Boston Bio 2025 and the Design and Automation Conference in San Francisco. Priyank Kharge was in Paris, where he attended a conference and the Aero Show. It's not clear what the nature of clearances that didn't come through are. My colleague Deepak Bupanna, who's bringing this information to us, joins me on the phone line. Deepak, what are you hearing from Priyank Kharge's office or from the other authorities that you're in touch with?
Well, this is a very interesting situation that's right now unfolding. Now, Priyank Kharge, who has been in Paris over the last couple of days, he's attended, a conference there. He was also at the Aero Show. He did represent not just, Bengaluru, Karnataka, but also the country in these conferences. Now, he was supposed to fly to the United States. A team from Karnataka has already gone there from the IT ministry. They are to attend the Boston Bio 2025, also the Design and Automation Conference that's happening in San Francisco. However, the clearances that were necessary for Priyank Kharge haven't really come through. He's expected to fly back to India. If this clearance issue is actually because of, the MEA not allowing it, then of course it could turn political. At this point in time, these are very initial details that we are picking up. And once Mr. Priyank Kharge lands in India, or probably, details out what exactly has transpired, we'll probably be able to get more clarity as to what exactly happened there.
Right. One needs to wait for that clarity. I believe Priyank Kharge has said that he will speak on this issue only after he comes back to India and gets categorical clarity. But moving on now to the abduction of a minor boy in Tamil Nadu that has led to the suspension of an ADGP rank officer who's now in police custody, and a sharp reprimand from the Madras High Court to a sitting MLA. The Madras High Court's orders last evening against police officer H.M. Jairam and the MLA has sent shockwaves through the police establishment. A minor boy was abducted after his brother had allegedly eloped and married a girl from another caste. The ADGP, along with an MLA, colluded in the abduction of the minor boy, and the ADGP's car was even allegedly used, according to the petition filed by the boy's mother before the High Court in that abduction. The case brings into focus the prevalence of quote-unquote katta panchayats, as we call it in Tamil Nadu, or extrajudicial settling of issues in kangaroo courts involving the police officer and the MLA who belong to the MLA who belongs to the scheduled castes. Allegedly, the girl's family went to a constable who in turn went to the ADGP, and the MLA colluded with the police officer to threaten the boy's family to bring the girl back. So what are the dimensions to this case? Does this expose the underbelly of the police-politician nexus and the prevalence of the use of force at the grassroots level to settle disputes? Joining me this evening are NDTV Sam Daniel and also Senior Advocate C. Rajashekaran. Mr. Rajashekaran, first to you. There's usually a caste angle in such cases, but this in many ways exposes the connivance and the collusion between politicians and police officers when it comes to a case of this nature. In many ways, that stands exposed. Would you agree?
Good evening, Veera Raghav. See, this is a case where a girl and a boy who happens to be adults have eloped. The girl belongs to Theni, as far as my knowledge goes, and the boy from Tiruvallur district. Incidentally, I am told, I don't know the real information, but I'm told that the girl's family are known to the ADGP personally. So he had helped them in connecting with the local MLA, that is Jagan Murthy, and they had sent some few people to check in the house of the boy, whether the boy and the girl are there. And unfortunately, the brother of the boy was there, and they had abducted him. And later on, he was let loose, which the boy's family had called the police, and the police immediately jumped into action. And the Tamil Nadu police will always act with all kinds of righteousness. As you know, we always compare Tamil Nadu police with Scotland Yard police, and the DGP, the ADGP, Law and Order, and the IG of the zone, North Zone, are officers with impeccable track record. So this matter was dealt and it was under inquiry. Immediately, the MLA's council had approached the Madras High Court for anticipatory bail, and which came up for hearing before the Honorable Justice Vail Murugan. And arrest is what had happened in the public domain, and he has passed an order making some strong observations against the MLA and stringent remarks against the ADGP, and he was asked to be secured and inquired properly. Though the comment, the observation or the statement made in the court was not in the order. The order speaks something different, which speaks like this, that the ADGP should be inquired, secured and inquired, and he should be dealt in accordance with law. To be very honest, if you want me to read the precise verbatim of the order, I would like to even quote that order and read that order for you.
Very briefly though, sir. Very briefly. We're running out of time.
Yeah. The respondent police is directed to conduct an investigation inquiry as the case may be and record statement of the witnesses, list the petition for hearing, for statement against the additional DGP. The respondent police is directed to secure and take action against the additional DGP of police in the manner known to law. This is the order, verbatim of the order passed by the Madras High Court. Though the observations made during the hearing was he should be arrested and he should be taken into custody, which is not in the order. So we have to wait and watch before we jump the gun. We have to wait and watch how the inquiry develops. And I'm told the ADGP has approached the Honorable Supreme Court for against the order.
You're making a very important. You're making a very important point, Sam Daniel. What's the response you've picked up from authorities, given that the ADGP officer, rank officer, has been suspended? What are the dimensions in this case that seems to be beyond just the obvious that meets the eye?
Virirago, we can now break the news that the officer who was interrogated since last night after the Madras High Court ordered him to be secured and acted according to the law has been let off. And the police say he would be summoned again if required. He has to appear whenever the police call him, but he will not be arrested. That's the development. And he has left the police station where he was interrogated after the court direction last night. And he continues to face allegations, and this development comes a day before the Supreme Court would hear his plea against the arrest. And in terms of the interrogation, what the police have gathered so far, speaking to the police officer and the MLA. At the moment, it's not clear, but there could be some developments tomorrow in the court when the case comes up again.
Right. Any response that you've picked up from the local authorities as far as the MLA is concerned as well, Sam, in terms of the investigations itself? Have you been able to speak to the family of the victim? I mean, the boy who was abducted or the girl who allegedly went away with his brother?
One information we gather is the bride's family is known to the ADGP, and the family has connections in Theni district. They also have some kind of a political connection, they say, but nobody is speaking on record. And since the interrogation has just got over, I think in the next couple of hours there could be more confirmed, authentic information in terms of the findings by the police.
Right. Right. Thanks very much there, Sam, for those details, and Mr. Rajashekar for putting clarity on that court order and how this case could potentially progress in the coming days. But we'll keep a close watch on that. A quick check now to the phone tapping controversy in Telangana. State Congress President Mahesh Kumar Gaud claims that the Congress's election tally in November 2023 assembly polls fell sharply because the leaders, including his phone, were tapped at the behest of the BRSS top leadership. He was speaking exclusively to NDTV's Uma Sudhir. Listen in.
Very serious that you're saying that at that time you're the working president of the party. Now Congress MP Mr. Anil Kumar Yadav, many phones you're saying have been tapped. What did you tell the investigating officer?
See, we have revealed the facts happened for the last 2.5 years. Our movements were tracked. Every minute movement was traced. Intelligence people used to surround our Gandhi Bhavan. Unwantedly, they used to stop our cars. They used to check thoroughly our cars. They used to obstruct our movement. And many times they have house arrested us. This all happened for their political advantage. No one has the right to curb our privacy. They cannot tap our phones in a special circumstance, so they cannot tap more than 3 days. How come they tapped our phones years together?
Did it have an outcome on some of the assembly constituencies results as well?
I doubt that. We are supposed to win in 90 seats at least. We got elected only in 63 seats. I strongly feel we lost those seats because of this political vendetta and political activity. They traced our movements, they traced our political leadership, they traced our supporters, they harassed our supporters. That is the reason we lost in many seats. 100% without KCR, the then Chief Minister's nod, the then Chief Secretary, the DGP and the retired intelligence chief would not have dared to do this activity. So now KCR and KT are solely responsible, and all officers above IG rank, senior officers who could not perform their duties as per the Constitution, they bent upon to the political leadership. All have to be seriously punished. This is the first of its case in the country. Near about 650 prominent Congress leaders were tapped for years together. And just before the elections, they have damaged all hard disks.
Remember that phone tapping controversy in which police officers have also been arrested, had blown up in Telangana. We'll keep a close watch on that. Of course, allegations from the Congress against the earlier BRS government there. That's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. News and updates continue right here on NDTV. Thanks for watching.
The ultimate price for Pahalgam terror wasn't just Indian airstrikes, but the squeezing of Pakistan's Indus lifeline. Now, for the first time on TV, NDTV reports India's impact firsthand. On camera, Pakistan running dry. India's water weapon.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola.
The all-new Hyundai Insta 2025 World Electric Vehicle. The 2025 World Electric Vehicle is here and available for a 24-hour test drive. The all-new Hyundai Insta and Insta Cross. Are you in?
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for 30% off selected products at Blinds Direct. Create your dream home with blindsdirect.co.uk.
The UK's first human heart transplant has been completed, supported by the British Heart Foundation.
We were a noisy generation, but it might be something quiet we do that becomes our greatest legacy. Leave a gift in your will to the British Heart Foundation and fund groundbreaking research that could help save millions of lives. Search BHF Wills.
Meet Barb. She doesn't use Employment Hero, so now she's short on staff and drowning in CVs. Never fear, Big Ears over here has a smarter way to hire. No more dealing with job ads. Now Barb can hire at the drop of a chef's hat. With instant matches to top talent, leap into the future of hiring with the world's first all-in-one employment operating system.
Air fryer. It fries using air.
Everybody. Britain, what you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. You could get 0% interest for up to 24 months on all your purchases with a Barclaycard Platinum credit card.
You're flying without wings. It fries using air.
Barclaycard. Make money work for you.
Vista Health means fast access to scans. Vista Health means rapid results. Vista Health means convenient locations. Vista Health means affordable pricing. At Vista Health, we know what your health means to you. And that's why we provide fast access to MRI, ultrasound, echocardiogram and other health scans, without the need for a referral or medical insurance. Get the answers you need. Book your scan today at vistahealth.co.uk.
John from work said it's a lovely hike.
Triathlon, John. Right, Rosie, can I have the boots bag? No, I meant the hiking boots bag. Did we not bring it?
Such a shame.
Such a shame.
With thousands of lower prices of boots, that's your summer sorted.
Let's play. Someone here is about to find out they've won Lotto, but who's the millionaire going to be? Maybe that guy, wondering, are crackers with the biscuits or the crisps? All in, buying a birthday card for a cat? Okay then. George is a millionaire. Get yourself a coat with sleeves. Lotto makes 2 millionaires a week on average. Will you be the next millionaire?
Visit bingo